Good morning. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for the next 4 days. That's the 15th through to the 18th of August 2024. So welcome. I want to start by sending out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. I also want to send out a big personal thank you to those of you who have ordered on my website since my last video. So I want to thank Dana or Dana. I don't know how to pronounce, because in Australia we say Dana or Dana. Oh, anyway, Dana, thank you so much. Karen, Tori, Judy, Deb, Luella, Keith and Amanda. Thank you so much for your support over the last few days. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Thursday the 15th of August and the time is 7:12 a.m. and it's very foggy outside. No wind, just fog. It's actually quite nice. It's quite nice outside. So welcome. So if you're new to watching, what I'm going to be doing is using my Oracle cards. I'm using my decks here that I created, the Speed of Light Oracle and the Animal Kingdom Oracle cards combined. And I'll be using this combined deck to find the best cards that the majority of us need for these next 4 days. I'm looking for one card for each day. And then at the very end of the video, I'll be looking for the best theme card for these next 4 days. So I'll be here for a little bit. If you want to hang around, that would be awesome. So I recommend that you take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily, and let the rest go. And I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust in my cards, and I trust in the way I choose my cards, and I also trust in my intuition. And hopefully something shared will support you, and we'll see what happens. Good morning. Valentina's here. Wendy's here from New York. Hi, Charlotte and Robin. Welcome to you all. So let's get started. I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Thursday the 15th of August. Matthew's here too, and Paula. Welcome to you guys. So the best card for Thursday the 15th of August 2024 is, we'll go with this card. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. And we have the Dolphin card 6, not 2. That's the butterfly. Card 6 is the Dolphin. And the Dolphin says that it's time to celebrate. So this is breaching the waters. This is celebration. This is the fireworks going off. So there is something worth celebrating for some of us on Thursday. So what is worth celebrating for you? Do you feel a personal sense of accomplishment or gratitude about where you find yourself? Is something happening on Thursday, or something that happens as you go through your day, that is a cause for celebration? So it can be something that we know is coming, but something that can take us by surprise. So are you ready to enjoy whatever it is that's celebratory? Now, if you're not in a great place, then celebrating might be the last thing on your mind. So I sometimes like to just wind it back to gratitude. What can you feel grateful for? What is working for you? Who is there for you? That kind of thing. And build up the foundations of gratitude, as hopefully then you can move towards the celebration. So it's time to celebrate on Thursday. A job well done, acknowledgement for something, progress on something. Sounds intriguing. I'm very excited to see what comes up today on Thursday, because it's Thursday for me now. Welcome, Susan and Darlene and Maria. Hello. So I'm now looking for the best card for Friday the 16th of August. And the best card that the majority of us need for Friday the 16th of August 2024 is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And we have Overlapping Worlds, card 23. And it says transition, sensitivity, temporary, and adjustment. So Overlapping Worlds, this talks about us being in a time of transition. So a time of transition is a time when we are in between things. We're in between change, perhaps, or we're in between doors opening and doors closing. Or usually doors closing and doors opening is usually the order of how it works, but not always. So we're usually in between things. So it's a bit like walking through a hallway and we're going from one room or out of one room into another room. And we've got this sort of temporary period. It's like the period where we are preparing to move house. We've already got our house or the place that we're going to perhaps signed and a date set, but it may not be happening for a few weeks or a few months. And we've got the old house that we're moving out of to tie up and pack and all that kind of stuff. So it's a temporary period of sort of turmoil in some ways of change. So this card's highlighting Friday, and this is unlikely to be just for Friday because this is sort of like a time period. So we might find that some of us at the moment are feeling a bit like we're in a transitional period, like we're neither here nor there. Where it's our address may not be fixed right now, for example. That could be another way of looking at it. So these periods are always temporary. They're always transitional periods as we move from one state to another, as we move from one room to another, or one state of being to another. It can be quite unsettling, and it can feel like we're in this transitional period permanently, when actually we're not. It's temporary. So sometimes it's really helpful to remind ourselves that this is temporary. It's not always going to be like this. We're not always going to be grieving, for example. We're not always going to be in this transitional period. It is temporary. And this can be really encouraging. It can be very supportive to have that attitude, because to have the attitude of I'm always going to feel like this now is probably not that helpful. But if we can remind ourselves, if it's appropriate for the situation, that this is temporary, I am moving through it, I am taking one day at a time as best as I can, and I'm working my way through. I'm going with the flow as best as I can based on whatever it is that I'm dealing with. We might be feeling overly sensitive too on Friday, and it's probably because we're transitioning. We could even be transitioning through cycles in our own body, cycles and changes that we're moving through ourselves. So this could also be part of this transition period. It's like transition in between change. So let's just do our best to flow through and also support ourselves through this transitional time. So that's for Friday. So quite the mixed bag so far. So I'm looking now for the best card for Saturday the 17th of August. And the best card that the majority of us need for the 17th is, we'll go with this card. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And it's this. It's card 1. Boundaries. Boundaries. It says truth, protection, courage, and bravery. So how are your boundaries doing? Are your boundaries strong and supportive and healthy? Or are your boundaries not supporting you? Are your boundaries unhealthy? Are they feeling quite weakened at the moment? So when I'm visualizing, usually when I'm visualizing my boundaries and I'm checking in to see what my boundaries, the state of my boundaries is currently like, I imagine it, maybe because I live in the country, but I imagine it like a farm fence. And the farm fence that keeps the animals in or keeps the animals out, or both. And I want to scan this fence of mine to make sure that there's no fence down. And then I've got animals going from one place to another when they shouldn't be, and energies going from one place or another when they shouldn't be, in my opinion. I've got to determine what my boundaries are. There's no one else that can determine that for me. So I've got to be confident, and I've got to be clear, and I've got to have lines that I draw in my life that determine my boundaries. And I'm always asking if my boundaries are healthy and supportive for me. Are they unhealthy? Are they unsupportive? Right, I've got to do something about it. But it's up to me to determine that. I have to take responsibility for my boundaries. Now, sometimes boundaries become unhealthy, and I've talked about this a little bit recently, but they can become unhealthy, and they can become like castle walls that we actually hide behind and we need to defend. So if we get very defensive in general, or defensive of our boundaries, or defensive of our time and our resources, then we might find ourselves hiding behind some unhealthy sort of castle walls that we've built up to protect ourselves. We usually build up these castle walls to protect ourselves from being hurt again. So it's important, I find anyway, to remind myself that I'm in a different time now. I'm perhaps in a different relationship or in a different time period of my life, and I don't need to hide behind these big defensive walls, because they actually keep energy out and they keep me in. And we hide behind them, and we probably don't realise, but a good sign to know if we're hiding behind such walls is if we have been really defensive lately. So if you're finding yourself quite defensive and you have to justify yourself and your actions, then you might be hiding behind some sort of castle walls. So I'd be breaking those down as quickly as possible, and reassuring myself if I was feeling that way, which I have in the past, but not so much now, reassuring myself that I'm not in that same situation I was in before, when I needed to be protected and I needed to be safe. Times have changed, relationships have changed, that kind of thing. So there's no need to have them up now. So for me, I find my healthy boundaries visually in my mind is like a farm fence. And I want to make sure that farm fence is tended to, and that it keeps unwanted energy out, and it keeps the energy I want in, because the boundaries serve two purposes. It's not only to keep the unwanted out, it's to keep and maintain the nice and hopefully balanced energy on the inside of that fence as well. So how are your boundaries? They might be calling for some attention, perhaps at the moment, and especially on Saturday. And we have to be, I think, boundaries very closely align with truth. So being really honest with ourselves about the state of things. Where are we giving our power away? Might be another way of looking at this. Because if we're giving our power away to others, or we're giving a power away to institutions or ideas or dreams or unrealistic dreams or expectations, then we're also giving our power away, which means we've got quite weak or probably non-existent boundaries. So paying attention to where we're giving our power away can also be another clue to know how healthy and supportive our boundaries are at this time. So being honest about how defensive we are, how much we're giving our power away, where are we, what I'm feeling now is like, where are we feeling relaxed perhaps with our time? Maybe we're giving too much of ourselves than what we have the ability to give. That would probably mean that our boundaries aren't really healthy at the moment either. So when our boundaries are healthy and supportive and strong, then we will feel replenished by the things that we're doing generally in our life. There are always exceptions, but in general, our day-to-day living things should hopefully be supportive as well and promote a balance. If we're giving too much of ourselves, if we're giving our power away, if we're just in defense mode 24/7, then we might be feeling quite depleted and quite exhausted just by trying to maintain life. Our boundaries help us maintain things, maintain our balance, maintain those healthy relationships. So they're supportive. What else can I say? Probably nothing else really around that. So finding the courage to look at our boundaries on Saturday and perhaps reinforce them or change them if they're not healthy for us. So the question I would ask you to perhaps think about, if you're interested to do that, is ask yourself, are my boundaries healthy and supportive for me now? Not last week, not next week, not last year, not next year, but now. Are my boundaries healthy and supportive for me now? And if they're not, what can you do to change that? If they are, then great. How can you maintain it? So that's for Saturday. Okay, let's now look for the best card for Sunday, the 18th of August. So the best card for the majority of us for Sunday, the 18th, is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle card. And it is the Temple of Maya, card 51. It says manifestation, revelation, and purpose. This card has structure and it has purpose. It has meaning. It very much, well, it can highlight a building of some sort, a building of significance. So not our everyday building that we might walk in and out of in our workplace, in our home. This is be something of significance if it relates to a building for you. So is there a building that's important for you at this time that you're stepping into, or that is of some significance for you right now in your life? And this would be highlighting that. So building structure is what this card's about, which is interesting because as we move towards, so we've had the Dolphin, which is, of course, for celebration for Thursday. We had Overlapping Worlds for Friday, which talks about being a bit unstable, being in a time of transition, in between change. We've got Boundaries for Saturday. That's reinforcing things. Reinforcing things, especially our boundaries, of course. And then we've got this structure coming in for Sunday. So it feels to me like there's an increased, as each day passes or as each day happens, that we should hopefully be feeling an increased sense of strength and structure and order. And in fact, that's probably a good word to use, order in our life as we move from perhaps a more chaos, scattered sort of energy into creating more order. And the key, or the key into that door, is really through boundaries, is the feeling, and boundaries also relating to perhaps the giving away of our power, so bringing our power back, taking responsibility for ourselves and our actions and our role in our life, that we are not victim to the demands perhaps of others or from life itself, that we can take our power back, reinforce our boundaries in a healthy and supportive way, and start to create more order and structure in our life. Because by the time we get to Sunday, it feels that we potentially have quite a strong sense of order. So we're creating foundations, and the foundations give us something to build upon, to build structure and order upon those foundations. So we might be looking at this through various areas of our life. Where are things collapsing? Where are things crumbling? Where are things scattered and uncertain and chaotic and perhaps drama filled? And how can we replace those or sweep those energies out and away and bring more solid foundations that we create, more self-responsibility, bringing our energy back, structuring and then maintaining our boundaries, and then building upon those foundations. Like there's something quite structural about this feeling here as we move forward over the next few days. So as we move towards Sunday and as we access this ordered energy through our boundaries and through taking our power back, that kind of thing, it feels like we're probably going to feel clearer and stronger within ourselves and have a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. And finding a sense of purpose and meaning on a regular basis where we can strive for purpose and meaning on a daily basis, if possible. And being careful that we're not thinking our purpose has to be some unrealistic idea or dream or fantasy off in the long distant future. That's a very pie in the sky, winning tats lotto kind of mentality. That how can we bring our purpose back into more of a regular, perhaps daily, manageable focus in a practical, real physical way. So that's the feeling here as we move towards Sunday. So I feel over the next few days, moving from chaos into order, getting our power back, creating more structure in our life, and creating more focus, more strength, a deeper sense of self-responsibility. Self-confidence, of course, comes with that as well. So the Temple of Maya, and a revelation can appear too with this card. So this is something revealed, like an epiphany, or a revealed moment, a revealed insight that can give us the focus and the insight that we need to turn things around. But it feels like there's a key, like almost like there's a door in front of us and the door's locked and the key is in our pocket, but the key is sort of invisible until we kind of get it. And I feel like there's something to do with this key that's connected with boundaries or connected with bringing our power back. Calling our power back. So noticing where we're giving our power away can also be very revealing. So are you counting on other people to support you, for example? Are you... I can't think of anything else right now, so let me grab the cards. But are you giving your power away? And bringing your power back may be really helpful. So that's that. Thank you so much. That's our cards for the next 4 days. I am going to pull a theme card in just a minute. But before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment. Please share if you're inspired to. If you would like to learn more about my cards that I've used today, or if you'd like to support my work so that I can continue to keep bringing these videos to you and the other resources that I create, then please consider supporting my work and visiting my website at templeofbalance.com.au. I've also got a second website which has mainly my ceramics and my earrings. I've got new feathery earrings and ceramics and different things, which is at leannepeters.com. So please have a look on my website and please consider supporting my work if you find it helpful. So I'm now looking for the best card for the theme. The theme will help bring these few days together and help us see the bigger picture for these days. So I'm looking for the best theme card for Thursday the 15th of August, 16th, 17th, 18th of August 2024, which is the best theme card that the majority of us need. And that is, let's go with this. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. And these just seem to keep being the dragons. So this is great. So the Animal Kingdom Oracle cards aren't coming up that much in the last few videos, but when they do, they're probably 90% of the time at the moment are dragons. So we've got 5 dragons in the Animal Kingdom Oracle cards, and here we have the Earth Element Dragon. So this is card 25. It says physical reformation. So this is highlighting that physicality element, the groundedness, the practicality, the order, the using of things, the making of things, the creating of things, the building of things. It's highlighting the physical nature of life. So this is bringing things down to earth. It's bringing things back into perspective, perhaps, and taking things out of fantasy land and unrealistic land and bringing them back to earth. So where are we giving our power away that's unrealistic, that is stuck perhaps in fantasy land? That might be something to consider for some of us too. How can we turn our purpose into something practical, something regular, something that we're doing perhaps daily or regularly that gives us a sense of purpose, of real earthy practical, grounded, physical purpose. The physical reformation element of the earth dragon here highlights physical change. So physical change in our body, physical change in our life. Things are changing, things are reforming, things are shifting, things are coming, things are going. And as we go through these changes, which takes me back to Friday's card, the overlapping worlds, being in a time of transition in between change. As we do this, it can be difficult, especially if we don't know where we're going and we're facing the unknown. We've got fear and resistance potentially because we don't know what's going to happen. There is this big unknown cloud over us. This is change. Change is the unknown. It's more likely that change contains the unknown than contains something that we know. So many of us are facing things that we've never done before right now. So how do we cope? How do we work our way through? We've got plenty of experience from the past that we can draw upon, where perhaps we've been in a different situation or even a similar situation that we can call upon that knowledge and experience to help us move through our current times. There are experts perhaps that we can contact and talk to and speak to that may have advice that may be good for us. Other people that have been through a similar thing, let's ask them how they got through it. What advice would they have now if they went through it again? There's a lot of wisdom we can gain from others, but let's be careful we're not giving our power away, but let's work together instead of saying, right, you deal with this for me. I can deal with this for me, but do you have any advice for me? What helped you when you went through this? Not in theory. For me, I'm not interested in theory. I'm not interested in the books and what you've read and what you think. I'm interested in experience. So what's your experience with this, and do you have any advice for me in regards to your experience going through something similar? So let's bring it back to earth over these next few days. Let's look at where we can turn the chaos into order. Let's look at turning the challenges that we're facing into opportunities. Let's look at how we can do things in quite a practical, grounded, physical way. So the Earth Dragon's quite a powerful time at this time, as I'm sure many of us know. So thanks so much for connecting. Have a great couple of days and a great weekend. And I look forward to connecting with you again next time. Take care of yourself and goodbye for now.